Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to Gulfstream Park West. Ron Nicoletti, along with Acacia Courtney, Jason Blue, will be joining us in just a little while after we get done with our pregame show here. We had a lot of rain in South Florida, but very windy conditions today, so the main track has already been upgraded to good, but no turf racing this afternoon.
No, so we will keep you updated on those scratches and changes throughout the afternoon for sure, but we definitely have some good races still on the card today, and we will keep you updated on any of the changes as we are off the turf, as Ron said.
They got the Rainbow Six yesterday for $177,000 plus, so we'll be starting that anew. And let's show you what we're going to offer you this afternoon. We're going to start it off in race number one with the first of two pick fives, in case you'll have a ticket in just a second or two. So we have that going for us. And then a little later on, I believe we have the Rolling Super High Five, which starts in race number two.
Yes, we do. So keep an eye out for that. That's any race with 7 or more runners. And then we have that Rainbow Six, as you said, starting anew today. That'll be in the 5th race at just a 20-cent wager, but we do have a carryover in the late pick five.
Yeah, over $19,000. And every time we have a carryover in the pick five, watch this thing skyrocket. It's a great bet. It's only a 50-cent wager, and I think a lot of people are going to be zeroing in on the last 5 races on the Sunday card. Once again, starting the day with a good main track off the turf this afternoon, but boy, it is a really nice day here in South Florida, so it's a shame we got that rain yesterday and lost a couple of turf races. But as Acacia mentioned, we got some pretty nice races on the main track. And let's take a look at your early pick 5 ticket.
All right, we'll dive right in. And I had a bit of a tough time with this first race. You see all the money coming onto the number 1. Caitlin's at the bar right now for trainer Kathleen O'Connell, but I ended up using 3 horses in here. Going to be using 2 deep in the second race. Touch of Quality just might be the best horse at the end of the day. We'll see if she can handle the drop down and the sloppy track again, as her wet track races haven't been as strong. Using the 2 top barns in Armando de la Cerda, Kathleen O'Connell, in race number 3. Race number 4, I am going to single Diamond Square. I think the last couple of races have been good. After the scratches really could be the controlling speed, and then I'll use 3 horses in the 5th race to cap things off, just $18.
I think we're in almost the exact agreement except for the first race, which I did not use the 1 and taking all the money in here, so may have been a horse I missed in here. So let's start with the number 1 horse in here. Caitlin's at the bar, so it's always a good thing when Caitlin's at the bar.
Yeah, that does seem to be a good thing. Caitlin's getting started early this afternoon on Sunday, but the last race was on the turf. It was against a tougher competition than what she'll face today, this filly. And if you look back to her main track race 2 starts back in her debut, it was 6.5 furlongs at Gulfstream Park. She really didn't run a step, but she kind of got off slowly. It looked like being bumped around at the start was a bit of an issue for this filly. So though you have good connections, especially with the rail, she's got to be able to get out quickly and run better than she has in her first 2.
And trained by Kathleen O'Connell, just having another spectacular meet here at Gulfstream Park West. So always someone you looked at. But I kept the number 3, Spicy Nelly, up on my ticket in here, stepping up to this level after rallying to come within the nose of winning her $20,000 career debut. That was going a mile on the turf here, on the local turf as she tries the main track. She's got the breeding to handle the main track, and that performance last time was highlighted when a couple of horses came out to win their next start. So coming out of a key race, ran pretty good in that race. Now just got to prove it can run on the main track. So I kept her on top of my ticket.
She had a really kind of sustained late run. I thought she was really game. She just missed in that race. I had her higher up on the turf than on the dirt. I did land on the number 2, Michelle's Laugh, on the turf. Just looking at pedigree-wise, and her only dirt race was against significantly tougher. That was against special weight competition, so she hasn't been beaten. In fact, this will be her first time in for the tag. And Misael Jaramillo riding in fantastic form. She's also a half to multiple stakes place horse named Trusty Tom, who was a dirt sprinter, so there is some dirt pedigree on the bottom side.
And it might be as simple as just a drop into the right spot here with things changing. We're coming off the turf. We have some scratches in the first race. As you can see on the board, if you're just listening to it, it's the 4, 6, 8, and number 9. We'll go to race number 2 this afternoon. This one also was scheduled for the turf course to be run on the main track at 5 furlongs. Claimers, fillies and mares 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life were 3-year-olds. 12-5 is the level. Scratch the number 3 horse in here. And I'm in agreement with your Touch of Quality. What I liked about Touch of Quality is she's dropping back to where she reeled off 3 consecutive victories. That was on the turf, but I like her tactical ability.
She does. She's shown that she can wire the field. She can sit from off the pace and make a late run. And she's just been in great form. Now, her last 2 races weren't as strong as what you're used to seeing. Actually, the one 2 starts back was pretty good. It was better than it looks on paper, and it was against tougher competition. So I think the drop today, not to mention she picks up jockey Edgard Zayas, which is always a good thing, and that could certainly be the key for her. She can send or she can stalk from the rail.
Well, I used the number 7 Clouded Appeal, and I did not, so I want to hear about this horse.
Well, this one's just taking a drop in class, and I had kind of put this horse on because Touch of Quality has some tactical ability, as you said, but there is, I think, a couple other speed plays in here, especially the 4 Rorima Dose, Better Be Fast, and Wildcat Wave. We kind of know they're going to send. So I was thinking Clouded Appeal, Sammy Camacho riding in great form, Clouded Appeal on the class drop, kind of sit in that catbird seat and stalk the pace and maybe pick up some pieces.
And I threw the 5, you did too. I got it in second, you got it on your ticket. Stepping up to face winners, returned from a layoff of defeat 12-5 maidens. Had a really strong late move, that was on the turf. But this horse, if you look back, has run well on main track, on a fast track that day. And maybe by the time the second race comes, if the wind keeps up like this, the main track will be listed as fast. So that is race number 2. Now we're going to go to the 3rd race this afternoon. And this is a 1-mile claiming event for 3-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 2 races in lifetime. We do have a scratch in here of the number 6. Southern Gentleman, and I think we both use King Power on top of our ticket.
I think so too, and as I mentioned, you have some really strong barns represented in here, and the number 2 King Power will actually show his most recent race. This was on October 15th right here at Gulfstream Park West, going a mile. He's been gelded since then, but the number 3 you can see is way ahead of the rest of the field, so sent hard, and actually was really keen on getting that lead. There were a couple horses across the track on the first turn. He ended up getting far ahead, and then if we can just freeze right here, the number 5 closing into him is our friend Hangry, who does end up passing as we let it go down to the wire. But I thought all in all, with that big lead, that King Power ran a very good race.
Good race, and he fought back. And of course, you got Edgard Zayas rationing his speed. He broke his maiden in a wet track, so that might move him up a little bit. Now, the horse that I used in second in here, and I believe, I don't know if you did too, is Warranted. And I used in second. Warranted is turning back to a mile after cruising on a wet track listed as good to defeat $10,000 maidens by 5 widening lengths and a mile into 70 yards last time. I don't want to show you a stat on trainer Kathleen O'Connell. Maiden winner last time out, all claiming right here at Gulfstream Park West. She's 5 for 15. 33% win average, 67% in the money, $1.62 return of investment. And just in the first race, we mentioned how good Kathleen does right here at Gulfstream Park West, and I think this stat certainly points that out.
Yeah, that's a fantastic stat. Even though it's not a positive ROI, I mean, the percentages are pretty impressive. And we know Kathleen does an excellent job based off of that win last time. You can see I used the number 1 High Dandy in my exacta, but I just used the 2 and the 3 on my pick 5 ticket. I was thinking High Dandy, who ran very well at a big price last time, might be able to grab a share. He is just 1 for 34. It looks like the 2 and the 3 are the big ones.
And that was my reason for putting it down. You know, as you mentioned, 1 for 34, but the great stat on that, and I think you got the logical 2 on your early pick 5 ticket. Now we'll go to race number 4, and once again, this one was originally scheduled for the turf to be run on the main track at 1 mile and 1/16. These are claimers, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, and we have some scratches in here of the 1 to 3, number 8, and the number 9. And I am in total agreement with you with Diamond Squares wheeling back after getting beat a length versus this same caliber competition going a mile in the 16th on the main track. It's Pat Piancone, Sammy Camacho. This one might turn out to be the speed.
It certainly could be. He's got a lot of natural speed. Piancone and Camacho have won some nice races together recently, and especially with the scratch of Exclusive Reward to his outside, who we knew was a pace presence, and even to his inside, Cape Force has some speed and the inside post. But now Diamond Square, I think they'll just try to send. He's been in good form lately. He could be in the right spot.
And the number 7 horse in here, Hope is Rising. Chances certainly rose when this race was moved to the main track and the gelding stretched out to a mile after that wide third. It was going on a sealed sloppy track, so getting similar conditions this afternoon.
He was a very big price, and though he was a distant third, he still grabbed a piece that day, and I do think that he's going to be the one coming from off at the pace, so we'll see if he can close, but his last race was good enough.
And there's talent from the Bobby DeBonabon. Hasn't shown much before the layoff, but look at the works in this one. Has been working in the slop across town and pretty good.
And working very well. You're absolutely right. The last work on October 21st was 4 furlongs. It was 48 flat on the sloppy track, on the main track at Gulfstream. So maybe off the bench, this gelding might be able to show something in here.
Well, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, I'm going to show you my Rainbow Six ticket. And that is a promise.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet. We are racing.
The Pegasus World Cup Invitational is January 27th at Gulfstream Park, and that weekend we have something new, the Pegasus World Cup Betting Championship. I'm lucky to be joined enough by two guys who will be playing in this tournament, including
Ray Arsenault, defending NEC champion.
And
Hi, Acacia. I'm Ross Gallo. I'm a 13-time NHC qualifier and also a member of the NTRA Players Committee.
we're so excited for it. Join us here at Gulfstream Park. $500,000 expected pool, no entry fee if played on site. This is for the players.
The Rainbow Six hit yesterday for $177,000 plus. I can tell you it wasn't me. I don't know about Acacia, but it certainly wasn't me in here. So we're starting anew this afternoon in our fifth race, 6 furlong sprint. These are maiden claiming fillies and mares 3 and up, $25,000. We do have one scratch in here of the number 3 horse, and let's show you my ticket. And we have a $28.80 ticket. I went 3 deep in here, and you see in race number 8, I singled the number 10 horse in here, and that's our old buddy Blings Express, entered for the main track. 74th career start. I think the race really turned around with this move to the main track for him. Single in there so I can go deeper with 3 and 4 in the last races. That last race, I had to use both Todd Pletchers.
I certainly can understand that. $28.80, very affordable ticket. And I'm in agreement with you, Ron, in the first leg here because you have One Direction song in this race who probably will be a short price, but I used a couple horses in this race as well. In fact, I even tried to pick against this filly because she's been a money burner, we'll put it
Without
that way.
a doubt.
And she's run well, really, in pretty much all of her races. We'll backtrack to the most recent one on September 27th. This was going 7/8 on the main track at Gulfstream. She was the number 2 that day. Just kind of wanted to highlight how she was stalking Autocinda, who was the number 1. And if we freeze right there, you can kind of see a little bit of bumping, little bit of greenness. Here's Autocinda, who did end up winning that race. She was stalking her as we let it roll down to the wire now. It was an okay finish, I thought, between horses from One Direction song, but still kind of on the track, not as professional as I would like to see.
Yeah, and you hit it right on the head. She's just been a bit of a money burner, so I didn't trust her. That's why I went 3 deep in my opening leg of the Rainbow Six. Now, the horse you have on top I like in here, and that is Wishfully, who's dropping to the $25,000 level on the main track. Failed to fire when facing maiden special weight competition, her 5 furlong debut on the turf. I want to show you a stat on David Fawkes going turf to dirt, maiden special weight to maiden claiming. It's a limited sampling, but he's 2 for 7, 29%, 57% in the money. He's got a positive return of investment of over $4. Not a move the barn makes a lot, but when they do, it looks like they do it successfully.
Absolutely, and I definitely think that that's something you have to look at. I saw the same stat. Looking pedigree-wise, the siblings were largely more turf runners, but is actually kin to 2 dirt winners, and then the dam was a grade 3 winner, and she won on both the turf and the dirt. So I do think that this filly should be able to make the transition just fine. She didn't run a step in special weight on the turf, so it looks like Dave Fox is just putting her where she could win.
And because we don't really trust One Direction song, maybe it's easy as a first-time start, and that would be Appealing Music, who we both use, the daughter of Successful Appeal. Really scripted an easy spot to start her career. The stuff she gets Lasix, Gilbert Chamafi in the saddle. And it could be a first-time starter. I saved with it on my ticket for that exact reason. Now we'll flip the page and go to race number 6 this afternoon. 5 furlongs originally scheduled on the turf, on the main track. The main track is listed as good. These are maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Scratch the number 1 horse here. Return to Senda. And this is where our late pick 5 starts, and you mentioned got a carryover today.
Yes, we do. Nearly $20,000 in the carryover for the late pick 5. I have a single. It's not the same single as Ron. In fact, the race he went 4 deep in, I singled. So it sounds like we're back to normal now. But in race number 6, I'm using 2 horses to start things off. Race number 7, it looks to me like that's a race where there will be several horses that can handle a track with some moisture in it. It's a very strong and competitive race, so I wanted some coverage in there. Race number 8, going to be using the main track onlys, including our friend Blings Express. But Harry He and even Master Blender might be a bit of a wild card, but I certainly thought Harry He and Blings Express were the big ones in there. 2 deep in the 9th race, and then I'm going to single the Todd Pletcher runner with experience in CK Dexter Haven in the last race.
CK Dexter's Haven is absolutely the one to beat on the previous experience, but I've learned in the past, the longer price of the uncoupled
That's
entry,
right.
if the 1 horse in there should get the job done, is why I went deeper here. Now, the 9 horse in here, who I started my analysis with, was entered for the main track. She shifts back to the dirt today after failing to earn a check on the turf again. She's tried to turf 3 times, 0, 0, 0, never hit the board. Her performance on the dirt, 2 and 3 starts back, was good enough to win here.
I do think so. My biggest thing with her, of course, is that she's 0 for 17. She does get in off the MTO list, which is absolutely appealing, and I think that she's certainly a must-use. But just as you said before, maybe it's as simple as a first-time starter,
Right.
so that's where I landed, because you have an 0 for 17 horse, or horses that are turf-meant and don't really have any dirt form to go off of. So the number 5, Mystery Lake, for Rohan Crichton, who actually has 2 first-time starters in here, but this one I did prefer the breeding. She's by Shackelford, actually had 3 siblings that won on a wet track, including a grade 1 placed horse named Great Notion. So really nice breeding on the bottom side as well. Josie Gomez in the saddle, and this filly is stabled right here at Gulfstream Park West.
The number 3 horse in here at Flying to Star intrigues me in this race. Hoping to show more after failing to get involved when trying 5.5 furlongs on the sealed sloppy track here last time out. But this is Victor Barboza Jr. and has Lino Reyes atop this daughter of High Cotton. But look, before that miscue last time out, this one was 2 for 3 in the money on the wet track. And the reason I said Victor Barboza Jr., if anybody's going to turn this horse around, it's him. So I'm sort of like a little bit afraid of him. You got him in 4th, and I got her in 3rd. So we'll see how that plays out. And with Flying to the Star, you might want to take a second look at this afternoon. Now we'll go to race number 7, and this one is 6.5 furlongs. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, or 2 3-year-olds, excuse me, $12,500. A couple of scratches in here of the 2, and the number 6 horse in here. And we both have the number 3 horse on top of our ticket.
Well, I think that the number 3, Sonito, certainly moves up even more with the wet track today. Very good race on the wet track last time. That was the first time with the blinkers, just as you talked about in the last race. It's Victor Barboza Jr., Lionel Reyes aboard. And this one actually started out with a lot of promise. Won his first race, his maiden claiming debut by more than 7 lengths, and then went on to be second behind 3 Rules and the Bird on the Wire. Long layoff, and actually looks like he's kind of putting things together. So I think that this is the right spot for this one.
Well, let me show you a stat on our buddy Victor Barboza Jr. Second start after a layoff, mid-level claimers on the dirt. 3 for 9, 33%. Oh, he's in the money 78% of the time, and it still has a positive return of investment. We're not telling you much about Victor Barboza Jr. because he's just been doing a fantastic job all along, but I'm in agreement. I think this is strictly the one to beat in this particular race.
Certainly could be, and I was intrigued by a couple others. Maybe I should have given a little bit more love to Canta Clara with the wet track, as this horse does seem to be pretty comfortable on there. But you have a couple other horses that have done well on a wet surface, including Night Rhythm, Midnight on Broadway. Did not run last time, but I think that the class drop with the outside post is going to be really key for Josie.
Well, let's touch on Canta Clara. This one proved he can run well on all surfaces. When he followed his maiden victory on the Gulfstream turf, he comes back, with a 2 lifetime score in the slop here on opening day, and then finishes second, going 5 furlongs on the fast track. The concern for me with this horse, the 6.5 furlong distance.
That is a concern as well, and I also just think the fields that he faced in his last 2 were not really as tough as some of the other competition that some of the other horses have been keeping.
And we both used the 4 Journeys End, who's stretching out to this distance, rallied to notch this condition, defeated those non-winners of 2 lifetime claimers going 5/8. Ronnie Spatz, Edgard Zayas in the saddle.
Edgard Zayas has ridden this horse the last couple times. They took the blinkers off last time, and then this horse, it did end up getting the win ahead of Canta Clara.
let's go to race number 8. It's 5 furlongs, originally scheduled for the turf to be run on the main track. It's an allowance optional claimer, 3-year-olds and upward, or the optional claiming price of $25,000. And we'll tell you about the scratches in here: 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. So looks like the main track onlys are going to play a big part in here. And you and I are basically in agreement. You went with the 9 Harry He, and I went with old Blings Express.
As you said, making his 74th start, Blings Express. He's had 15 races here at Gulfstream Park West, 6 wins, 8 seconds, and no thirds, but a pretty impressive track record for this horse, for sure. He gets in off the main track only list, and he's certainly got a lot of class to work with. He has some speed as well. I'm giving Harry He a try in here, though. He's 2 for 2 here at Gulfstream Park West, and I think last time out, he lunged at the start. He wasn't where he normally wanted to be. You put a line through that. He's been in very solid form, even trying stakes competition 2 back. I think Ralph Nix has done a very good job with this horse.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you got to use both of them on your ticket. Blings Express, you know, cruised on the sealed sloppy track, but we already have a good track already this afternoon. And getting back to Harry He, on wet track, 7 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. The other horse I had in third is More Mia, who does her best running from that stalk closed position. Can end up sitting in the catbird seat, which should be a solid pace scenario up front. Marty Wilson, Jorge Ruiz in the saddle. Like this horse, much more on the turf today.
I do too. He certainly has a lot of class, but he's 0 for 4 on a fast main track and 0 for 2 on a wet track. As I mentioned, Master Blender I thought might be a little bit of a wild card in here. Second off of a very big layoff for trainer David Fox. Came back in stakes competition last time going a mile. So we'll see if the class relief, Tyler Gaffalione up.
They had, I forget what it paid, but the 3 main track onlys got into the race the other day. And
That's
it paid,
right.
played a gigantic try. So it was as simple as saying.
Cheech Thunder.
Cheech Thunder, that's your $34. I had him in third, as usual. 9th race this afternoon, 7 furlongs now on the main track. When they're 7.5 on the turf here, they revert to a 7 furlong sprint, so make sure you mark that down. Claim is Fillies and Mares 3 and up. Now, is a 3 in life or 3-year-olds. Scratch the 1, the 2, the 4, and the number 6. And our old buddy Flash Jack will try and make it 2 in a row. He shipped in and won a turf to dirter at the distance, albeit that was on the fast track. And by this time, this afternoon, later on, it might be a fast track. Peter Wall, the trainee, also handles a track with some moisture in it.
Certainly does. Has a win on a wet track and a second. Good win last time out. Emisel Jaramillo going to stay aboard. Second off the claim. We'll see if this one can continue that streak. Then you have Great Euphrates, who we know her MO, just going to send. Shows a lot of early speed. Abby Medina in the saddle. She's been very solid lately.
Yeah, she's going to go to the lead. She's turning back to 7 furlongs today, and that might just be the answer to get her across the wire first. I closed it out, and so did you, with Napa Valley Rose, and this one a monster winner on the slop at Gulfstream Park in August, hoping to bounce back. Never ran a step, and that was against Flash Jack and Roraima.
Yes.
But that was a race on October 1st, not the last one for Flash Jack. So keeping company with Flash Jack. So Napa Valley Rose, certainly someone you might want to give another look to. Now, we end the day with a really nice race, and this is the 10th race. 6 furlongs, maiden special weight, 2-year-olds. And hear this, no scratches, no jockey changes to let you know about.
Wow, and we have 2 Todd Pletchers in here. First-time starter, one with experience, and one of them, the number 3, CK Dexter Haven, ran at Gulfstream Park last time on September 30th. We'll show that race. Beaten just a neck, actually. Was the number 8, bobbled a little bit at the start, but was breaking to the outside, and you can see just dueling up front. Edgar Zayas was on the number 4, Empire Power. I do think it's worth noting Empire Power came back with a very good second-place finish behind another Todd Pletcher runner, Colton, Mississippi, the other day. Unfortunately, second best. But look at how game these 2 horses are down to the wire.
Yeah, and I mean, like we mentioned earlier, CK Dexter Haven is the one to beat. Now I want to belie that with a stat. Excuse me, not a fact. Well, it is a fact, but we'll call it a stat.
Fun fact.
Todd Pletcher, 2-year-olds, with coming back after between 8 and 30 days, maiden special weight on the dirt. He's 15 for 39. That's a 38% win average. He's in the money 72% of the time. And what I like, positive return of investment. So narrowed it down. This one coming back in exactly 30 days, I believe.
I like it. It's a good stat because you see such high numbers coming from this barn. So when you are able to narrow it down a little bit, that's good. For what it's worth, the dam was precocious. She won it too. She also won on a wet track. So that's kind of what another reason why I did end up singling this horse. But he also has the number 1 Tito chip. So you've got Tyler Gaffalione on the 3, Edgar Zayas on the 1, and if you're a Chips fan, maybe this is where you go.
Well, chips that you eat or chips the motorcycle guys?
Oh, I was thinking like chips and salsa, but you know, I don't know with you.
You know, I told you about my Rainbow Six. I had to add this one horse to it, but you see my selections up there. I try to get cute because I think really the races, the 3 horses race to lose in here. You know, so but I did like the 5 in here, who's going to wear blinkers after finishing a workman-like 3rd in his 7-furlong career debut across town. But this son of Flatter, look how he's working over this track. He continues to fire bullets in the morning over the Gulfstream Park West surface. So you're looking for a little bit of a price. Maybe this horse will be the one.
Certainly could be, though. The dam was grade 2 place. She won on a wet track. As you said, working very well on a wet track right here at Gulfstream Park West. And Gustavo Delgado had a really nice first-time starter the other day, so the barn's been going well.
And number 8, Toss, is going to toss the blinkers today, track the pace, finish a weakening 4th on this surface when going 5.5 furlongs. It's my buddy Sandra Slivka, had Luca Panici named to ride. Blinkers off this afternoon.
I see what you did. The toss is going to toss the blinkers. I like it.
Well, you know I had to get that in there.
Yeah, something.
So it's going to be a fun day of racing.
Yes, I think
we got
so.
that really nice carryover in the late pick 5, 19,000, and I'm estimating it's going to be over $100,000. I think I'm right.
All right, I like it. It's a really fun sequence. It closes out with a really nice maiden special weight, so don't miss that. Good luck.
Good luck.